And it says, select the graph A through K that best matches the number 1 through 6 description of various cost behavior. For each graph, the vertical y-axis represents total dollars of cost, and the horizontal x-axis represents output units during the period. So this is our level of activity, right? And this is our total cost. So if we were looking at that maintenance cost formula, that's the kind of thing we're looking at, right? This is the total cost. That's what we're calculating, that final number. And this is the level of activity. So if we flip back to the previous one, that's level of activity, we're looking at the X, okay? So X-axis, we're looking at the X, right? But the total cost, we're looking at the Y. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the description. So here's the descriptions. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to match the description to the graph. All right. So I'm going to put the matching graph right over here. The cost of depreciation on a large piece of production machinery equipment where the straight line depreciation method is used. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see all the graphs. So the cost of depreciation on a large piece of production machinery equipment where the straight line depreciation method is used. Now, which graph represents that cost? And the answer is K. And the reason why is the amount of depreciation going straight line is always the same. If you remember from whatever introductory financial course you took, if you remember from that, straight line depreciation is always the same, no matter what the level of activity is. So of course, this number 1 is going to be K, because the level of depreciation is not going to change. It's going to stay the same all the time. Okay, 2, the cost of operating a forklift to move work in progress inventory across the factory floor where the forklift moves inventory in groups of 100 units. So we move 100 units, then we move another 100 units, then we move another 100 units. The graph that best represents this is H, because from here to the 100 point, it's going to cost us exactly the same. And then when we jump to another 200, so now we've got 100 and we're moving it once and then we're moving again. And then we're moving once and again and again. So this absolutely is H. So now we're on 3. The cost of direct materials, where the first 2,000 kilograms of direct material are free because they are donated by the local city government. After that, the direct material cost consists of a per unit amount that decreases after a threshold of 2,500 total kilograms is reached. So let's look at this again. Think about this. The cost of the direct materials, where the first 2,000 kilograms of direct materials are free. So the first 2,000 are free. After that, the direct material cost consists of a per unit amount that decreases after a threshold of 2,500 total kilograms are reached. So we've got possibility as A. There's a few we can discard right away. We couldn't do B, can't do D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. These are all off the table because you got to think up to 2,000, we pay nothing. So the only thing that it can be is actually A or C. And it said that after that, the direct material cost consists of a per unit amount that decreases. So it decreases after a certain threshold. So we see here after 2,500, the cost is going to start decreasing. That means the slope of the line decreases, right? The slope of the line tells us our per unit variable costs. The steeper the line is, the higher the per unit variable costs are. So the only one it can be is A. 4, the cost of inspecting finished goods inventory. Each unit is inspected by a quality expert who is paid the same amount for each unit inspected. And in this case, it's going to go straight up from 0. If they inspect 0 units, it's going to cost us nothing. If they inspect 1, let's say it costs $10 for each item inspected, it's going to be $10, $10, $10, $10 every time we increase. So absolutely, this is J. Now, 5, the cost of product shipping for all output shipped in the period. The shipping cost per unit decreases with each unit shipped up to a certain number of units, at which time the shipping cost per unit remains constant. So let's just look at this again. Cost of shipping the product, shipping cost per unit decreases with each unit shipped up to a certain number of units, after which the cost of shipping is constant. So looking at this, we've got G. Yeah, I think the only one we can say is G. An electric car plant manufactures car batteries. Part of the manufacturing process involves the emission of toxic chemicals into the environment, which is regulated by Environmental Protection Agency in the form of a fee assessed on a per unit manufactured basis. The per unit cost of complying with these regulations increases with every 5th battery produced. So the more batteries they produce, the higher the cost is going to be. Yeah, I think the only way we can look at this is E, because here, if we go 5 and then another 5 and then another 5, and of course it would go on and on and on and on and on. Because it's becoming steeper. Yep, it's becoming steeper. E is the only way to go. Keep in mind, being able to read a description and then match it to a graph, really important.